What it's Scooby? It's looking like it's gonna be a quiet night here. So what is Scooby? Welcome back to After the Snap. I'm your host, Tasha Pierce. And this right here is the Midweek Meltdown. Well, this is where we kind of figure out where we are in the week with entertainment news. And we got a few things today, a few a few things that of course that were not expected. I'm going to say, if you've seen the thumbnail, you kind of know where I'm going. Wink, wink, nod, nod. But yeah, we are, I guess we're just going to begin here right from the beginning. I would generally, I guess I could invite you guys if there's anybody out there. Um, I could invite you to say hello in the chat and hit the like button, just in case you didn't know that at least signifies that somebody got some value out of this live stream. Yeah. Oh yeah, we got a big docket today. And we're gonna start it off as soon as I can find my yeah, where did I want to start? Hmm. I'm lost. In case you didn't know, it's been a rough week. I was kind of under the weather, but I guess I'm feeling better now. And that's what counts, right? uh, let's see. Get that over there. This right here. Oh, and I need my glasses. Give me 1 second, please, while I go and fetch those. I don't know what I was thinking. Okay, I can see. All is right with the universe. I can see. Let's get this thing started. Okay, now things are okay. Things look normal now. All right, so let's jump right in to the meltdown, and we are going to start with on a sad note. Um, it was revealed earlier this week that Nick Cannon, who had famously fathered several children within just like months of each other, but that's not what we we're going to harp on today because that's his business, right? But he had famously had these children within months of each other, and I don't know why everybody was all up in arms because Nick Cannon can afford to have all the children that he wants as long as he's going to take care of them. So I feel like if he has the means to care for his children, then it really, everybody's business, everybody's opinion of that is their own thing, and it hasn't stopped the money from flowing in. However, money isn't everything. And we noticed earlier this week that Nick Cannon was on his syndicated talk show, and he talked about losing his 5-month-old son, Zen. Um, he started the episode by showing, a photo of Zen, and everybody was so impressed with how handsome the little man was. And the baby was born in June, and he was diagnosed shortly after, because he was only 5 months old, with a malignant tumor in his head. And he had an operation to relieve pressure on his brain, but uh, that situation took a turn for the worse on Thanksgiving, and they found that it was cancer. The tumor began to spread a lot faster. Nick Cannon was able to spend some time with his son this past weekend, and he said they were able to watch the sunrise together on Monday. And then instead of flying back to New York to tape his Nick Cannon show, he went back because he wanted to be with Zen, and they got to see the sunset as well. Zen passed. It looks like he passed on Monday night, and he returned to work. Nick Cannon did that next day, which is something, that takes an abundance of strength, because I don't think I would have been able to do it. I would not have been able to. I wouldn't have been able to come back to work. Not the next day. Couldn't have done it. So he is going through a very sad time, and this is it's become a very public thing because of the fact that those announcements were made earlier this year about how many children he had sired over this short period of time. Like, again, I say, that's his business, not my business. I can't tell that man uh, whether or not he is, whether or not he has the means to care for however many children he feels like he can care for. That's his business. But I thought that I would share some of what he was saying, and I'm kind of glad I did. Uh, let's see. Let's see what Nick Cannon had to say.
Today is a special one, y'all. It's like for many reasons, but it's not gonna be an easy one. Because I got
I don't
so
even
much
have
to talk
nobody
about. I
out
actually
here that
haven't
I
even
can
shared this with anybody, really. I mean, not even the
poke to
crew. I
see
came
if
in, today is
this is
kind of
coming through.
quiet.
And I don't know if it
And
is. We're
just
going to
because there's
find out
so much
here.
going on in the world, and I had
I
a
don't even have
tough,
nobody here that I can
very
poke to
tough
say,
weekend.
is this coming through?
But it's like, before I even get into
Um,
why, I always, we go to the pick of the day. And I got to show, this is the pick of the day of my youngest
yeah, so
son,
there he is
Zen
sharing a
Scott
picture
Cannon,
of
right
his
there.
son, Zen.
Um, so, probably before the show started in the summertime, Zen was born in June, on June 23rd, actually. And it was a great day. Obviously, y'all know I got a lot of kids, and so and Zen's my youngest, and it was so exciting. And I got I did the introducing Zen photo, and so during the summer it was really exciting. But I always noticed, like, yeah, as he got, like, 1 month was great. By the time he got 2 months, he was just like the most loving. We called him Z chilling. He was always smiling, always having just the most beautiful spirit. But I always noticed he had like a little, like to me, it felt like a sinus thing. It was like a cough. And I just wanted to check it out. Sometimes early on we thought, because babies get fluid in their lungs, so we thought he'll cough it out, and that's what they would say. But he always had this real interesting breathing. And then like by the time he was 2 months old, I noticed like he's just the cutest little boy. Has these like big eyes. I also noticed like he had like a nice sized head. He had like I call it a cannon head. Like all my kids got really nice round heads. Like rock, roll, golden. Everybody had, like, even me, I had like a real like Cabbage Patch Kid type of head. So we didn't think anything about it. He had a normal cannon head. But I really wanted to, take him to the doctor to get the breathing sinus checked out. So we thought it would be, a routine process. And we went in just to check his sinuses, and they actually said his sinuses were pretty cool. But then by the time we found out that he had another condition, and I think it was called, if I'm not mistaken, but it was like where it was fluid that was building up in his head, and that was the cause of his head was starting to get big. And when we found out it was more of they called it like a malignant tumor in his head. And so immediately we had to have surgery, brain surgery. We put a shunt in his head, and we were hoping for the best. And, the shunt would go down. It was like a tube that would go inside and drain all of the fluid out, so his head would be normal, and he would be able to function. But then the doctors were concerned, and when I say, I have to thank all of the doctors at the Children's Hospital of Orange County, CHOC out there. They were beautiful nurses, the people, Trinity, the hospice care, all of those people. They've been and they were really educating and kind of letting us know everything that was going on. So we were faithful and hopeful for that time. And then it was carried on. He was still just playing with all his brothers and sisters. I get an opportunity. I embraced every moment, because of something like that. That was even them, like, with all the other kids, and like I just got an opportunity to try to spend as much time. And I really want to say I'm so grateful to my entire family for coming together during this time and being so loving and not judgmental of me or any of those things. And I really have to say, Zen's mom, Alyssa was just like the strongest woman I've ever seen, because she never had an argument, never was angry, was emotional when she needed to be, but was always the best mom and continues to be the best mom possible. So I got to say thank you to my entire family, but specifically to Alyssa. And Thanksgiving, because up until then, he was just like all my other kids, just loving and fun. But Thanksgiving, we had a interesting turn, and the process sped up, and ultimately, if anybody knows how cancers work, it was cancer in the brain, and the tumor began to grow a lot faster. And so we knew that the time was. So this weekend, I made a valid effort to spend the most quality time I could spend with Zen. And we woke up on Sunday. Got to spend, the weekend with them, spend the night, and we woke up on Sunday, and I was like, I just feel like I want to go to the water. We're close to the ocean, and we kind of got a chance to go to the ocean. And usually on Sundays, kind of handle everything I had to handle with the family, and then I fly back to New York. I rush back so I could be here for you all. And so, but I wanted to make sure that, I had allowed the sun to rise and, kind of hold my son. And in the having the last, holding my son for the last time. But it was a beautiful setting and even to spend that whole day. It was interesting because even as I was holding him, I was still preparing my day as it normally went to come back and, come here and still, I didn't know what it was going to be, but even by the time I got in the car and was headed to the airport, I had to turn around. And I turned around and not only did we get to see the sunrise, but we got to see the sunset too. And I didn't know how I was going to handle today. I didn't know how, but I just really wanted, I wanted to grieve with my family. You know what I mean? There's no people who love you.
And that is like just the raw emotion from Nick Cannon, who lost his son. And it's got to be the worst feeling in the world. It's very cliche, but many of us say, we want our children to outlive us. You don't want to have to bury a child. And here this man, he not only did you have to bury one, an infant who never even really got his start in life, and it's so unfair. And there are so many things that run through my mind when a child dies. There is I guess it's just not fair. It just doesn't seem fair. But here we are. So my condolences go out to Nick Cannon and his family, his other children. They obviously have also lost a sibling so very early, and it would be tough for them to have a conversation with young children about death, especially not the death of a grandparent or a great grandparent or an older aunt or uncle. We're talking about the death of your baby brother, and that's got to be hard. It's got to be tough. So my heart goes out to Nick Cannon and his family. So I started there so that we can go on to something a little less heart wrenching.
Today is a special one, y'all. It's
and that is that Tom Holland is set to portray Fred Astaire in a biopic. Now, I don't know, and I might this might be the worst kept secret from me. Like, I didn't know that but let's just go. I didn't know that Tom Holland even had the potential to have the type of range to play Fred Astaire in a biopic. Now, this is not to say that I know for certain that he's going to do this fantastic job. I hope that he'll do a fantastic job. As Tom is going to be trading in his webbed Spider-Man suit for a pair of dancing shoes to portray Fred Astaire in a new biopic from Sony. According to sources, deals for the project are still being finalized. Of course, Sony has declined to comment, but we know that Tom Holland kind of famously has a big mouth. So he said, "Oh, I'm playing Fred Astaire." Holland told the AP while promoting Spider-Man No Way Home in London on Sunday. The script came in a week ago. I haven't read it yet. They haven't given it to me. I know Amy Pascal has the script. She FaceTimed me earlier when I was in the bath, and we had a lovely FaceTime. But I will be playing Fred Astaire. So, of course, when I look at the picture, the side by side, I can kind of see it. I can I can definitely see how he can pull it off, the look. But I'm like, okay, Fred Astaire was a little bit more than the look. How are we going to get Tom Holland in a position to be able to dance like Fred Astaire? And Lord have mercy, I don't know if I've been living under a freaking log for years here, but turns out Tom Holland is quite a fucking dancer. He's quite a dancer. So I've got this little clip to show you the moves. This young man got yes. So yeah. So that right there was, I guess, uh what let me know that Tom Holland got it. Like Tom Holland got it. He can definitely uh I'm pretty sure if he can make his body do all of that, he can do some Fred Astaire moves. He can do a little tap dancing and that sort of thing. So I guess I'm looking forward to seeing how this whole thing turns out. Um, I don't what it do, Reinhardt? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I didn't know that the boy could move like that. I didn't know he could dance like that. So surprise, surprise, right? But yeah, he will be playing Fred Astaire, and I guess I'm here for it. Shit, I don't have a choice. He proved that he's got the moves like Jagger. Our next subject today is that there will be a Broadway show that is going to be going over of the life of gosh, why can't I get his name out? Sidney Poitier. Um, let me see. So yeah, Sidney Poitier, the life of actor and activist Sidney Poitier will be told in a Broadway targeted play to be written by Charles Randolph Wright and directed by Ruben Santiago Hudson. I'm here for this. Um, of course, I don't know that I'd be able to go and see a Broadway play. I guess you kind of have to leave the house. You kind of have to leave the house to do that, and I don't leave the house much anymore. But I'm truly interested in seeing how they uh pull it off in like a musical style. Even though we know that Sidney Poitier had that whole Broadway uh he had that Broadway background, but I'd like to see how they do. And it didn't say it was a musical. It said it's just a Broadway targeted play. So we're going to see how that thing works out. I'm super. I'm very happy that we're getting this biopic or the stage play. But I would also like to see this whole thing in a biopic, in a something that is more accessible to the general public, where you don't have to be a theater person, like I'm talking Broadway theater, to see this to see this stage play. I want to see it done as a movie as well. So if you got opinions, if you got a thought about this whole Sidney Poitier Broadway play, let me know in the comments. And now here we are at, I guess, the moment that I have been waiting for to talk about. I don't know, my hat don't want to stay on. I tell you, it don't do this until I get in front of the camera. Then the hat want to act stupid. Did Kevin Feige really confirm Charlie Cox Daredevil in the MCU? Uh, and I only ask it as a question instead of stating it as a fact, because when we go through what he actually said, it wasn't a confirmation. It was a famous Kevin Feige non-answer answer. He said a thing. It could have very well meant one thing, but it could have meant something else. And if you are unsure of what we heard, and hopefully, Reinhardt, if you're still out there, you'll let me know if you can hear this clip when I play it, please. Because I've been playing clips this entire time, but it really wasn't anybody out there I could ask. So Let me know if you hear this clip of Kevin Feige, quote unquote, confirming uh, Charlie Cox in the MCU.
Uh, if you were to see Daredevil in upcoming things, Charlie Cox, yes, would be the actor playing Daredevil. Where we see that, how we see that, when we see that, remains to be seen.
So yeah, so that was the clip. Now I got two questions. What did he really say? What did he really say? And the second thing is, what the hell is going on with Amy Pascal? That's a whole separate question. We can answer that after we talk about what Kevin Feige really said. Because to me, it was a non-answer. It was a non-answer. He hinted that Charlie Cox uh, could could enter the MCU. He never said, "Oh yeah, he coming. Yeah, Charlie Cox for sure. He's going to be our Daredevil." He said, "If you were to see Daredevil in upcoming things, Charlie Cox, yes, would be the actor playing Daredevil. Where we see that, how we see that, when we see that remains to be seen." That to me wasn't an answer. So I do, while I do believe that Charlie Cox is going to return to the role of Daredevil in the MCU, while I strongly adhere to that belief, Kevin Feige said a whole lot without saying nothing in this statement. And I don't know whether, I don't think he would play that kind of game with us. Like he would go that far into the mind F of us. But oh, I see you, Angus. How's it going? He said Kevin Feige doesn't want to cast anyone else. I get that. He don't want to cast anyone else, but we are seeing people jumping, like really jumping out the window, saying that he confirmed this. And I'm like, I didn't hear a true to life confirmation. I heard a hint. I still believe that we are going to get Charlie Cox in the MCU. I do believe that he is going to be our Daredevil. I don't know how they are going to, I guess, shoehorn the things in, how they're going to, whether they're going to make Charlie Cox's Daredevil, he's always been a background player in the MCU, or whether they're going to say this is something that happened when the multiverse kind of opened up, and these alternate realities that Doctor Strange couldn't hold back started to pop into our reality, or the MCU 616, whatever you want to call it. I'm feeling like that's probably going to be the way we see it. There will be no excuse. Like if you ask yourself, if Daredevil, Charlie Cox, and Iron Fist, the Punisher, if all of them existed in the MCU all along, then why didn't they help out in anything? So because that would be a looming question. I know they don't want to leave that type of question out there in the open for everybody to be pondering, because they like to kind of try to sew up their loose ends. They are not successful at it all the time, but they do like to tie up loose ends. He said, "After Carl, you trust my intuition." That was a really lucky guess. I said it with a lot of confidence, but that was really a lucky guess. But yeah, a part of me says, okay, I feel like we are definitely going to get the MCU's Daredevil in Charlie Cox, and that they are going to put this thing together like this is something that happened because of the multiverse, that they didn't exist all along. Because then I got questions. Kevin gonna have some splaining to do. Right now, Kevin is okay. He doesn't have to explain anything because it I think he's got a plan. I think he's always had a plan. He is probably the best planner as far as these wide connected universes, he's probably the best planner that I've seen in a very long time. Now, Amy Pascal, I just there's something weird about her in this interview, and I don't want to make assumptions. But did anybody else get a vibe from Amy? Amy looks a little off in this interview. She even sounded a little off to me. Um, yeah, it was to the point where I actually thought that it was some type of parody. Like I was like, "Oh, this ain't them. This has got to be some lookalikes or something." It was really her though. I really, yeah, I don't know. Something is off, and I don't want to say what I think that something is. But yeah, so we either got a confirmation that Charlie Cox is going to be in the MCU as Matt Murdock, uh, like everybody wants. I think like it's a consensus that most people want to see him in the greater MCU. I think we are going to. I think we're going to see that. Now we got Disney Plus has their shows She-Hulk, Miss Marvel, Echo, of course Hawkeye, which is still running. This last episode, yesterday's episode was pretty darn good, or today, however you're looking at that. I was up at 2:00 watching it, so it was yesterday to me. There's a real case for seeing him sooner rather than later in the MCU. We could also possibly see him in a number of movies. Some people believe it would be Spider-Man No Way Home. I'm not 100% sure that we're going to see him there. I don't subscribe to that theory, but I do believe that sooner rather than later. Even though I am, I'm playing devil's advocate, I'm playing the other side. Kevin Feige didn't actually say, he didn't actually just come out and say that Daredevil was definitely going to be in the MCU, like a lot of people are reporting. But we know that, what is it, Maya Lopez, Echo, that just she has a connection with Daredevil, and I think that if they're going to bring him out prior to that, it could be damn near anywhere. I don't think it's going to be Spider-Man though, but they might actually hold off until Echo, because that's where we have a true to life connection. All right, our next story,
if you were to
is staying with Marvel. This was not a surprise at all, at least not to me, that Destin Daniel Cretton is slated to direct Shang-Chi Part 2, whatever the sequel is, and other projects for Disney, to include a Disney Plus show. So of course, when a movie makes a whole shit ton of money, we know that there's likely going to be a sequel, especially in the MCU, when most things kind of have several movies. Most of these characters have at least 2 to 3 movies before they hang that character up, with the exception of, I think, the Incredible Hulk. And I still, if they can work out a deal, I think that I believe it's with Universal that they would have to make that deal with. If they can work out a deal with Universal, I believe we'll see another Hulk movie too. But yeah, he is slated to direct this Shang-Chi sequel, other projects for Disney and Hulu. So not just the Disney Plus side of things, but also the Hulu side of things. And that is with the Hulu's Onyx Collective. That's where they put their spin on Marvel projects, but it is separate from the MCU. Filmmaker is already in development with Marvel Studios on a new MCU series for Disney Plus. At the same time, Disney made it official that Cretton is returning to write and direct the previously rumored sequel to Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Under the big new overall deal, Creighton will develop TV projects for both Marvel Studios for Disney Plus and Onyx Collective across all platforms, including Hulu. Uh, he's also going to produce through a new production company that he's launching with his partner, Asher Goldstein, named Family Owned. Together, they're going to focus on building a slate of projects in film and TV that highlight the experiences of communities that have traditionally been overlooked by pop culture. So we are going to see more, I guess what we're leaning towards is more diverse casting, more diverse storytelling. We're looking at him not only doing things for the wider MCU, but these smaller projects on Hulu. I'm here for it. There's a couple of Hulu projects that I really liked. And gosh, now that I try to remember the name of it, it was just like right here. Runaways. I liked Runaways. I started watching MODOK. I did not like MODOK. I'm glad they found something else for Patton Oswalt to do in the MCU. Didn't like MODOK, and I'm understanding that if we get MODOK in the MCU, that they might be looking at Jim Carrey, which I can see it. I can see it. You want that over the top kind of humor. Oh, hey there, Lysandra. No problem. I don't take points for being late. So yeah, if we get MODOK, then there's rumors that it'll be Jim Carrey. I'm wondering how that will work, and I'm wondering who else could be MODOK, and I hope they don't go just full comedy with MODOK. I want him to actually seem like he really is serious. So what is it? Mechanized only. I don't forget what it means. Mechanized organism designed only to kill. Yeah, I want to see what they do with him in the MCU if we are truly getting the MODOK character in the MCU. I'm just flying through this because the first few minutes of this, y'all, I didn't have nobody, so it was just like me just sitting here talking to myself. So I'm literally halfway through right now at 40 minutes. That's crazy. Okay, and then we started to hear well, it ain't no started to hear. I've been kind of talking about it, how piracy is hurting streaming. And streaming is like, of course, it's good and it's convenient and we like it because we can watch our shows whenever we want to. And we all get these wonderful copies, and we're not hindered by what you're like. If you can afford the streaming service, you're gonna get the same content across the board. All of us, we all get the same stuff. Some of us get it before others, but we all get the same stuff, right? When you look at this chart that's here, and it's talking about piracy and what are the most pirated shows, or these are films actually, the most pirated films on streaming. And by pirated, I mean people who flipping steal the product. We know what piracy is. And then and a lot of times they'll sell it to somebody else, or they'll just give it away. Back in the day when we used to do with the music and all of that, some of us still do it with music. I don't do it with music. I don't really pirate anything, especially yeah, I don't pirate anything. Everything I get is like, I do really pay for my streaming. But the chart positions for the most pirated stuff on streaming starts with Venom, Let There Be Carnage, moves on to The Last Duel, No Time to Die, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, and Dune. They round out your top 5. All of these, I wouldn't say all, So Venom, Let There Be Carnage, No Time to Die, and Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, they had a strong theatrical run. So we're not looking at it like, it at least had an opportunity to make some money. The Last Duel and Doom were the two in the top 5 that kind of jumped out to me because, these are people who have worked. They've done an awful lot to make sure that they put out a quality movie. Now, I haven't watched The Last Duel yet, but that is definitely on my must watch list because I've heard great things about it, except for I heard that it was a wonky way to tell a story. But I'm very, very interested in seeing, if The Last Duel holds up to me the way it held up to so many critics and audiences. Some audience members really enjoyed it as well. And Dune, same way. I watched Dune. I thought it was freaking fantastic. This whole HBO day and date thing kind of put it at a disadvantage, and we still seeing this disadvantage. Dune right now is number 5 on the most pirated list of films in streaming, and I can almost guarantee you that at a time it was number 1. I wasn't following this list very closely, following it now, but I wasn't following it very closely at first. But the way I look at it, that's Highway Robbery. That is definitely a movie. The effort, the performances that were done in this movie deserved to get the revenue that is attached to having those types of performances. So call me old fashioned, but that is one of the things I did feel kind of some type of way. Well, when you start to look at TV, it's even worse. Hawkeye season 1 right now is the most pirated TV show or a streaming show. So right now, if it's streaming, then your next one is The Wheel of Time. These are 2 shows that I am very into, that the people put in their performances. The studios did their due diligence and gave us a good product, and it's mostly being stolen. And I just don't like it. Star Trek Discovery is on this list in the top 5. These are shows that are kind of close to my heart. This Hawkeye, Wheel of Time. Then there's Dexter New Blood, which I'm not into, admittedly. And then Star Trek Discovery and Succession. But also in the top 10, rounding out the top 10, is Lost in Space. I think all of these shows deserve to be compensated, for the, at least have the watches tracked. Like, people, you're not even tracking the amount of minutes this thing is being watched because people are stealing it. So I thought I would just add that, and if I can get this week by week, I will continue to keep that and make that part of our discussion, because yes, I know it is convenient to have all of these ways, and I guess there are some cases where I can even understand using these means, piracy, to watch a movie or a show. But if it ain't nothing wrong with you, if you are fully capable of being able to pay this $10-12 a month for the streaming service, pay the $10-12 a month. If you can rent one episode at a time, rent one episode at a time. let the people who are behind this project, I guess, see some of the revenue in this. So yeah, that was just me having a pity party, not a pity party for myself, but for the people who are working so hard to put out good content. And yep, let's see what's next. Okay. And then, I talked about The Power of the Dog last week on Film Review Friday. And I told you guys, basically that I truly loved that movie. Like, absolutely loved it. It was, again, not perfect, not a perfect movie, but the performances were freaking awesome. like so awesome. And then the twist in this movie was just so. There was one twist that I was like, I really hope this is not the twist. And then there was a second twist that I never saw coming. I had already guessed the first twist. Easy peasy. I had already guessed it. That second twist threw me for a whole flipping loop. And that to me was a good story. That to me is it was payoff for all the time that we spent getting to know these characters and building this, I guess, a character study of each one of these people, and then seeing how this thing turned out, man. But yeah, there's a award season buzz all around this thing, and it was number one on Netflix last week. So it kind of makes sense. It was another Western, which we've gotten a couple of Westerns this year, which is really different. I guess it's not, I guess if you kind of pay attention to the way things were swinging, that we were going to start getting more Westerns just after, to me, after The Mandalorian, the first season of The Mandalorian, it was like, this is a space Western. It's a space Western. I absolutely love the way The Mandalorian played out. It is definitely leaning into the Western vibes, and people loved that show. Loved it. I'm one of people. I'm one of those people. So I guess it wasn't that much of a leap to say, well, if they are liking these kind of concept Westerns, what would they do with the real Western? And we got The Harder They Fall, and we got The Power of the Dog. And I want to say that there were probably a couple more Western type titles this past year, and I'm pretty sure that we'll be seeing more. But that Benedict Cumberbatch, Jesse Plemons, Cody Smith-McPhee, Kirsten Dunst, they did a fantastic job, and they are leading Netflix right now as far as the top movie on Netflix. Now, there are other movies that are holdovers. Yeah, Red Notice is still hanging out in the top 5 of the Netflix original movies, and it's number 3 right now. Single All the Way, 14 Peaks, Nothing is Impossible, The Christmas Chronicles, and The Christmas Chronicles Part 2. Those are also, of course, you knew the Christmas movies. It's that time of the year. So, of course, the Christmas movies are going to be kind of up there. I haven't watched not one single Christmas movie yet. Not one. I might watch Die Hard tonight. On the TV side of things, season 3 of Lost in Space topped the TV by leaps and bounds. Nothing came close. The new episodes came out December 1st. I have not yet watched Lost in Space, so don't spoil nothing for me. I'm going to watch it though. And I think it will be one that, we'll discuss after I finish the entire season. We'll discuss it on Stream Something Sunday. That definitely, because it is the final season, that definitely has to be talked about. The series first season ranked number 4. The limited series made it's in the top 10 of Netflix series for 10 weeks now. So that's another series. I have not watched it. Maybe I will get an opportunity to see it. Also new to the list this week, season 1 of School of Chocolate, season 4 of Jurassic World, and then the show You. It rounds out the top 10. So yes, those were all of the things that were on Netflix that are doing pretty darn good as far as their performance. But The Power of the Dog, if you haven't watched it and you have Netflix, watch it, give it an opportunity. It's a different kind of movie. It moves a little slowly at first, but it moves slowly all the way through. This is not no action movie. It ain't a whole bunch going on, but it's gonna make you think. And when you get to the end, I'm telling you, you will realize that every single detail of this movie was intentional. That if you don't remember every single detail, you might be lost at the end of the movie. But I thought it was a great movie. I really did. Now we're moving into Kenan Thompson. And he used to be part of that Kenan and Kale and the Good Burgers and that kind of thing. And then he graduated to Saturday Night Live. But he has been a part of this whole comedy thing since he was a little bitty kid, young guy. And here he is now um, trying to figure out what he's going to do on the other side of Saturday Night Live, because he's been doing Saturday Night Live for years. I don't think I could ever remember anybody being on Saturday Night Live the way he has, the amount of time. I'm pretty sure somebody was, but really, it just seems he's made a career of Saturday Night Live. Now, he's formalized his plans to move into production and talent management, and he's launched Artists for Artists with John Ryan Jr. So that's his partner in his production and talent management agency. He also, wait a minute. He also is involved with Mike Tyson. Yeah, Mike Tyson. This just don't even sound like it's shit that goes together, but it goes together. I'm gonna come around. It's gonna all come together. So Tyson is involved in the company's first project. So his wife and his brother-in-law, that's Mike Tyson's wife, Kiki Tyson, and his brother-in-law, Azim Spicer, they are going to produce Mike Tyson Undisputed Truth Part 2, a live stage tour written by Kiki Tyson that is a follow-up to his 2013 one-man show and HBO special. So it's all tied with, this whole Mike Tyson project. I kind of am glad that he's doing it. Kenan or is involved, because Mike Tyson has said that they have made projects with his name attached that he is not behind. So, this man is still living. If you're going to make a project about a living person, at least give them an opportunity to have some say in what's done. But if you want to tell a story the way you want to tell it, so I guess I get, why you wouldn't want to involve the actual person who actually might know what actually was going through his mind, actually. Because I kind of go back to, like, we could go back to the top where I was talking about Tom Holland. Tom Holland is playing Fred Astaire in a biopic, but Fred Astaire has long passed. Fred Astaire was very against having a biopic. He didn't want nobody making no movies about his life. But now Fred Astaire is gone. There's nobody that, you don't have to go through the estate. It probably would be a good idea, and it probably would be an even better idea to honor this man's wishes. But okay, since y'all saying F his wishes, forget what he didn't want, we're going to make this movie anyway. He's not here to dispute or argue about it. Think about the Gucci's, the House of Gucci, how they were upset with Ridley Scott about their portrayal in a TV show or in this movie. They thought that it was insulting to their brand and to them. And excuse me. And okay, they were alive. We probably should have consulted with these people. And same with Mike Tyson. So I'm glad that that what Kenan is doing is reaching out to Mike Tyson. Maybe you don't want to just whitewash the story and make it seem like everything was all gravy. When he did get into things, we know that there were some things that happened. But at least get some of his input, at least get his input. And I felt the same way about the House of Gucci. That after the Gucci family came out and spoke against this, that is what really stopped me from going to the movies to see that movie. I planned on going to the movies, and I postponed going a couple of times that had nothing to do with the Gucci's coming out and having an issue with this movie. But once I learned that they felt insulted by the portrayals, I'm like, I want to see the movie, but really, do I want to support that? They do that quite a bit with this. I'm not going to ask permission. I'd rather ask forgiveness than permission. That kind of thing. And when you talking about somebody's life, that's a little bit different. Dave Bautista is, and look, I remember I was talking about Dune. I remember I was talking about Dune, and I said, I got a different respect for Dave Bautista because he showed a bit of a range in Dune, even though his part was small in this first part of this I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna be, is it really gonna be a trilogy of this two-part movie at least? In the first part of this movie, his part wasn't that big. But when he was on screen, it was far more believable. It wasn't Dave Bautista being Dave Bautista. You know how we have that kind of complaint, I guess you could say a complaint about The Rock. When The Rock is in the movie, he's The Rock being The Rock. When Ryan Reynolds is in a movie, he's Ryan Reynolds being Ryan Reynolds. When I think of John Cena, it's just John Cena being John Cena. So those things, Dave Bautista showed me a little something different in Dune. He got this is a great opportunity for him in Dune to cut his teeth, to work with a legendary producer or director. I'm sorry, to work with a legendary director and to actually to show that he got the goods. So I feel like he's got the goods. What is that, Angus? You said the book came on in 3 parts and the 2021 movie ended at the end of part 1. Right. So the expectation is that it's going to be a trilogy. But to me, they probably should have went ahead or maybe they'll do 2 and 3 together. They need to go ahead and record those things together and put them out, because I did understand that Denis Villeneuve wanted it to be a trilogy, but he kind of had to teeter on it being a 2-parter. What else you got here? But that said, part 2 isn't that exciting of a movie without the war in part 3. Okay. Well, I'm going to see, because I definitely am in. I'm in. They got me. The first one was beautiful. And of course, I didn't even see the original movie version of Dune. I've not read the books, so I really didn't have a baseline. That movie, to me, it did leave me wanting more. I was a little unsatisfied with the way they stopped it in part 1, but when people like you say, hey, that's the way the book really went, then so be it. But back to Dave. So Dave Bautista has gotten some work with James Gunn. He's gotten some work with Zack Snyder. He's gotten some work with Denis Villeneuve, which should be like top. Rian Johnson. And now he is going to be working with M. Night Shyamalan in this Knock at the Cabin. And you know that those real thinky type, twisty type Shyamalan movies, I want to see if Dave Bautista is strong enough of a presence on screen to pull that kind of thing off. So I'm very interested in this project. I like M. Night Shyamalan as well. One of my, and I know you're gonna laugh at me. One of my favorite movies of all time Don't think I'm about to say The Sixth Sense, because I'm not. That's too easy. Don't think I'm about to say, what was the name of that movie, Devil, because I'm not that crazy. I'm a little crazy, but I'm not that crazy. One of my favorite movies of all time is Signs, the movie with Mel Gibson and Joaquin Phoenix, the little Culkin kid, Kieran Culkin. I think it was both of those kids were Culkins, if I'm correct. Uh, that's like one of my favorite movies. So yes, I love M. Night Shyamalan. I love his work. I can't wait to see if Dave Bautista continues to impress me with how much better he's gotten at the acting game. The fact that he is taking this so very seriously and is trying to improve, and he's coming out of comfort zones. He's not doing the same kind of project over and over and over again. And he's taking risks. And I respect that. I respect that. If you want to be seriously taken or taken seriously as a thespian, I respect the fact that you're going to take a risk and that you're going to take a different turn than a lot of the people who came through wrestling before you. You know, there are some, of course, like you said, The Rock, Dwayne Johnson is Hollywood elite, but I don't know how much of it is just because he's charismatic and very good looking, as opposed to like because of his acting skills. Because honestly, I don't think I don't think he's the greatest actor, but I would have to see him in some other type of stuff instead of always action, 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 action. I want to see what he does with Black Adam. Not saying that it's so much different, but it is a character that is going to take a certain portrayal. It this character cannot be Dwayne Johnson being Dwayne Johnson. The Black Adam character has already in our minds has a personality. We want to see The Rock embody that character, not just putting that character in The Rock's body. And uh I feel like I'm gonna find out in just a few months here uh whether Dwayne Johnson whether he got it the way I think he has it. And you say The Rock is also hardworking and pleasant to work with on the set. And that to me just goes back to his charisma. He is an extremely charming and of course hardworking. He's used to that. So I can see the hardworking part. Now, I haven't heard anything negative about Dave Bautista. Um, the only thing that I guess the only negative vibes I get from Dave Bautista is when he shades the other people who came through wrestling. So when he throws a little shade at The Rock, when he throws a little shade at John Cena, of course he said I want to go a different direction, but you don't have to yuck on their yum because you're doing it differently. You know, y'all all out here eating. So and you're all out here eating and you're doing it in a legal way. Ain't nobody out here doing nothing illegal that we know of. So I say don't shit on them because they are doing it differently than you. But I do respect the acumen that it takes for him to say, shoot, I want to be more than Dave Bautista, former wrestler turned actor. He just wants to be known as an actor. And in a lot of ways, that's what wrestling is any dang on way. But he wants to be known as an actor, and I'm here for it. I'm here for it. So that this movie, this M. Night Shyamalan and is directing with Dave Bautista, starring, is February 3rd, 2023. So we're looking like it's looking like it's going to be another big ensemble. I'm not 100% sure. That's what M. Night Shyamalan normally does, but that doesn't mean that he's not going to lean into Dave Bautista and try to make him try to make him stand up and hold this film up on his own. We shall see. So we got a lot of Bautista coming up, a whole lot. So if you not through, you haven't seen enough Dave Bautista, we know that we saw the Dune and the Army of the Dead. Knives Out 2, they just wrapped production on that movie. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which he complains about kind of vocally as well. I get it. You're ready to move on from that character. So that's one thing. And then he's also going to have that Knock at the Cabin and Dune 2. He's a working man. And then there's that other movie, the one with him and Jason Momoa that they pitched together that they wanted to do, kind of like a Lethal Weapon type movie, buddy cop or that kind of movie. They're going to be working on that thing too. So the man is out here. He's trying to be taken seriously. He's doing different types of projects. Some of them work, some of them don't. Like that Stuber or whatever that Stuber, that didn't work for me. But a lot of movies that he has, a lot of chances that he's taken have actually really worked out in his favor. And I'm looking forward to seeing what he got. What else does he have to give? And that was it. That was my presentation for today. But before I take off, and I got some things to say, and I also want to hear from you. If you guys have anything you want to chat about, I'm here. I'm here for. I got a whole nother hour slated to be here, but if we get done early, so be it. But if you guys have something, go ahead and like the chat up so we can talk about it. And while we're doing that, I'm going to say thank you to my patrons. Thank you to my patrons. I've got 5 patrons, and they don't know how much they help me and how much it keeps me going. Just knowing that I got somebody that I'm working for, that these 5 people, Emily, Eileen, Clarence, Libra, Spirits, and Reinhardt, Larry E is Reinhardt. with those, with me knowing that, okay, no matter how small the contribution, they are contributing. They are expecting me to continue to put out content and to do do what I can to make improvements and that kind of thing. And for them, I am very grateful indeed. So thank you to my patrons as always. And if you'd like to support my channel as a patron, you can do that by going to patreon.com/Tasha Pierce. You want to send me feedback and suggestions, sinister.media.network@gmail.com, sinister.media.network@gmail.com. But I will do you one better and have it go across the bottom of the screen. So if you do want to reach me and give me some type of topic ideas, suggestions, feedback, there is the email address. You can also follow me on social media at Snap After on Twitter, After the Snap Movies TV on Facebook, and on YouTube. It's After the Snap Movies and TV. I would love it if you would subscribe if you've not yet done so. I'd appreciate it. You can also send me one-time donations at Cash App with the $ Quinn's Mama. PayPal.me/AfterTheSnap. You can send super chats, super stickers, however you want to support. I'm down if you're down. And the next time you'll see me will be Friday. Now, Friday, I'm either going to be reviewing. I got it too, because y'all know how I am about leaving the house. And I've been feeling really, really, really funky lately. And to see one of these movies, I have to leave the house. That's the West Side Story. I really want to see this, so I got a feeling that I'm going to get my butt up and just go. So there's West Side Story. And then the other thing, ooh, I'm so sorry. That was rude. The other movie, if I don't do West Side Story, is probably going to be Bruised, the Halle Berry movie. Now, I'm not, I'm teetering, and I'm only teetering because of how I've been feeling here lately. So there's that. Um, so the next time you'll see me is Friday at 7 p.m. I'll be doing one of those movies. But if you want to know my whole schedule, I do 5 live streams a week, usually. This week I took Monday off because I wasn't feeling well. Um, Stream Something Sunday is one that I do at 3 o'clock on Sundays, where we talk about streaming series and movies. We recap them, we review them, and we chat and discuss. So that's Stream Something Sunday. The shows that have been on our docket for the last few weeks have been Star Trek Discovery, Hawkeye, The Wheel of Time. But I'm thinking whenever we finish watching Lost in Space, I'm gonna add that just for a 1 day kind of let's wrap this whole thing up. And also, I'm really considering this show Harlem. So if you have other movies or other TV shows that you would like to see us cover in weeks to come, you can submit those at sinister.media.network@gmail.com, and we'll take a look at them. Also, I wanted to know what you all thought about the Peacemaker series. Do you guys want to cover Peacemaker, which is coming on HBO Max? And I believe it's January 13th or roundabouts. So let me know what you think about that as well. Then Mondays is More Than a Movie Monday. That is when we discuss something that's more than a movie. For instance, a biopic, a documentary, a docu-series. So we cover that kind of stuff. It's more usually a heavier topic and a shorter episode on More Than a Movie Monday. That's at 7 o'clock. The Midweek Meltdown is where you are right now. We do this at 7 o'clock on Wednesdays, where we have the middle of the week entertainment news, followed by Film Review Fridays, which I just told you about. That's at 7 o'clock on Fridays. And then finally, the weekly wrap up. The weekly wrap up is what we do on Saturdays starting at 3 p.m. Central. We wrap it up the entire week in entertainment news. Like I said, this week we jumped everything off for the midweek meltdown with the sad news of Nick Cannon's baby passing, and we wrap it up right here with Dave Bautista making power moves actually in Hollywood. He's working with some of the best directors, and I'm pretty sure if you enjoyed today's news, even though it started off kind of if you enjoyed today's news, you probably really will enjoy the weekly wrap up on Saturdays. Another thing that I'm trying to get off the ground is some reactions. So if you guys have trailers, shows, anything that you want me to react to, go ahead and submit that to me as well at sinister.media.network@gmail.com. We're going to try to work those in on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So you ain't got to go now one day. You ain't got to go one day without seeing my face. Okay. And I see that I don't have any new comments here. It looks like it's, like I said, very quiet day. It's been a long time since I haven't had like any of the regular faces. Besides, well, Angus and Lysandra were here. But yeah, it's been a while since I haven't had any of the regular faces. But hey, this is an opportunity for new people to get on board. Join us. We have fun. It's a loose conversation. We talk about our topics. We sometimes stray off a topic, and that's fine. It's okay. But yes, I don't have anything else. I've given you all that I've had. I got nothing. I got nothing. So with all that being said, I hope that you will choose to join me on Friday for our Film Review Friday movie of the week, and for the other live streams that we have planned for the rest of the week. With all that, I got nothing else. See you in the next one. Peace.